call to order at 5:03. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next is item C, public comment. We do not have anybody with us in person today. I don't know. But if we have anybody online.
No online attendance.
At least I got a thumbs up for him, so we're good to go. All right, so nothing for public comments today. So we'll go right on to minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the January 15th, 2025 minutes?
Second.
Session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item E, correspondence received January 14th, 2025 to February 14th, 2025. We did not have anything in our agenda packet, so no correspondence. But I do always mention we do have the contact form at the bottom of our landing page for the website that you can use to contact us anytime for questions or comments at all regarding the project. So please continue to use that. We'll move right on to reports for F1, nothing specific for chair report tonight. So we'll move right on to town council liaison report.
I would say the same, nothing specific for our committee today.
Any questions for Sarah? All right, Board of Education liaison report.
Okay. You have anything specific and we're done with our part of the budget, moved on to town council and that time of year.
1928 building committee liaison report, Chris.
Nothing specific. I think in the next, month or so, you'll start seeing more activity coming up in terms of the construction and renovation. So, but nothing to report in at this point in time.
Project management contingency report, Chris.
Change orders, we're gonna go over those now.
No, we'll do them later.
Yeah, no, we're continuing on with change orders. There was a big punch list walkthrough yesterday. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend. People are not happy with that because they spent how many hours? 8? 6 hours.
I was exhausted.
Wow.
Thank you.
Extra 1 hour.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
It was noted in the minutes though. Don't worry.
Capitalized.
Yes, yes.
Plugging away.
All right, anything we should know on the contingency laws at all?
Nothing except the lights, we're gonna have that meeting on March 5th. We're gonna hold the March 5th meeting. And Kathy needs to be there for that one. For the talk about the lights. Yeah. For the lights for the tennis court.
Yeah, so that's how we normally cancel our first meeting of the month. Yeah. For scheduling purposes, we're going to keep it on, so that will not be part of the.
And the reason we need to do that is, schedule. To get those lights ordered, we gotta move them. So we gotta have that by the last possible date.
We might be able to virtual.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, virtual, that's the only thing we would have on there.
Yeah.
It won't be long at all.
Okay, all right, I'm sure we can make that happen. Anybody have any questions for Russ or on the contingency laws as we have them in front of us? Okay, let's go on to architect report.
So on the high school wooden auto shop, the faculty had a few noise level concerns. So the sounds were really loud and they were getting headaches. So last week we had a meeting with the faculty, ONG, Cole Ronan, and also the acoustician, Jaffe Holden. So he measured the sound levels with the dust collector on, the ambient dust collector, and the various shop equipments. And the levels were well below the OSHA required regulations of 90 decibels. But then he kind of concluded saying that the dust collector could run at a lower frequency to bring the noise levels down. So ONG needs to kind of, they need to set up a meeting with the dust collector manufacturer and the faculty to just kind of walk them through what is it that they need to maintain, what is the frequency that they need to run the dust collector on. So that needs to happen. Okay, and there was also an issue with the welding fan was too loud. So we issued a kind of a change to the fan to reduce the noise level at the property boundaries. We did test the sound levels at the property boundary too with the fan on and off. So we did issue changes to the fan too. And we also, on the high school again, we are reviewing the O&M training and demo submittals for the high school. We also started the Connecticut High Performance Building submittals too. Then on the central office side, we completed review of the building signage submittal. Any questions?
Any questions at all? No, everybody online, okay? Check it.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect, construction manager report. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm moving on, I'm looking at the wrong agenda.
Site work 70% complete, winter conditions, no activity. They'll reconvene come spring, early to mid-April, hopefully. Grandstands are in fabrication. We're scheduled for July delivery. The high school is 100% complete. Punch list is ongoing. We are looking for that. For Central High School, we're 80% complete. Fronts are due on site next week. Ceiling grid and tile install are ongoing. MEP finishes started. Millwork started. Prime and first coat is ongoing. Final coat is ongoing. It's done in areas where we have millwork going in right now. MEP rough-in is complete. Installation is nearing completion. Electrical room build out is complete. The field house hard ceilings are in progress and locker install is started. Tennis courts, the benches were delivered yesterday. Final coat again is weather dependent, early to mid-April. That's 85% complete. As far as the pay app goes, we reviewed it with TSKP. We reduced Lockheed, Classic Turf, and Greenwood. Greenwood was billing for their warranty when they hadn't completed their final inspection yet, and Lockheed and Classic Turf, they're billing for materials that weren't yet on site, and they didn't do stored material for us. And then we reduced performances. We will be reducing performances retainage to 2.5 when we have all their paperwork.
Just what was the percentage on the central office completion?
80.
I know. I got all the other ones, that was the one I didn't catch. All right, great. Any questions? All right. All right, now, Chris, owner's rep movement report.
High school, continue on reviewing the punch list. Part of yesterday's walkthrough each item on my punch list. And as well as documenting the closeout documentation coming in. As far as the central office, done some preliminary above ceiling inspections, passed that information on to ONG. The actual above ceiling will take place in a couple of weeks based on the schedule, and continue on looking at the progress and quality control.
Any questions? All right, communication subcommittee, we have not had a communications meeting in a while, so nothing to report there. Financial subcommittee report, I think if there's any addition that we would like to talk about, we did begin to start having conversations on closeout at the financial subcommittees. Believe it or not, we're gonna have to start talking about how we start to wrap everything up. So some of those conversations are starting now. And obviously more information to come, but That was one thing that we did start the discussions on. Anything else?
No, I think that was that.
All right, and no new financial report?
Nope, no report.
All right, so we'll move right on to new business. Could I have a motion to approve the following invoice package for Farmington High School as presented?
Second.
Open this up for discussion.
Okay, so the first invoice is TSKP Studio. This is for professional services rendered through January 31st, 2025. There's line items here for construction administration at 42,000 and some billing against the theater design amendment, which is 3,740 for a total of 45,740. And then next is O&G's invoice. I think Jess mentioned some of those things, so I'm not sure if there's any other questions on their pay application for $784,592.73. Not. The next one is IES. This is our commissioning agent. This is just for their professional services through 12/31. This has been reviewed and approved by O&G, and they recommend payment for this invoice. Next, we have Russ's, the project management. This is $6,077.50. This is for work through January, and as always, it's supported by his weekly timesheets. Arcadis, the portion for the high school project is $6,512.50, and this is for their work in the month of January through January 26th. Then we have an invoice from Norcom. This is for some of our technology components. We do have a PO open for them. This is another milestone billing as materials are delivered. This is in the amount of $16,210.65, and Matt Ross reviewed and approved this invoice. So then I think we move on to change orders.
All the change orders went through the decision-making group. Discussed as needed. Change order 172. We added additional AED cabinet in the field house for $596. PCO 176 was additional Knox boxes required by the fire department on the central off on the high school. Yes, to the high school. 180 PCO for $2,536. PCO 180. We had to relocate the goggle cabinets in the labs for $5,816. PCO 183 was the additional uplink for the Edge Studio for fiber with a correction. It included additional fees. We've already approved this before, so to get it corrected, go through the legal process. It's $1,496.79. It was a revision. PCO 185, additional tree removal for the placement of fill for $18,348. This is in conjunction with PR 45 with all the extra fill and different changes that came up with the design through the process, through the progress. Remember, we had to find a place for 9,000 yards of fill. This is for the slope behind the tennis courts. We filled them a little inconsistent. It wasn't a straight slope. So we were able to get rid of about 6,500 yards of fill instead of getting into the F hill down below. We got it hidden. We hid the fill up there, and it looks natural. It came out good. So that was all seeded and everything. So that took care of a lot of the fill. The rest of the fill will go down below where the parking lot when that comes out and regrading down below. And again, we're not touching the F hill, so that was a big part of that. PCO 199, 2 more badminton sets for the small gym for $1,535.97. PCO 200, we extended the current track in the Edge Studio for $1,799. PCO 204, We had to install a knee wall that wasn't included in the drawings in the field house to support the lockers for $24,696. And BCO 205, additional concrete infill in the auditorium for $2,705. And BCO 212 with an additional chain rail at the bottom of stair tower 2. And that is a steel rail that protects people from walking onto the stairway. If you're using their cane, you won't hit their foot in the stairway. The safety issue. For $6,433.45. Any questions?
Any on mine? Okay.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good, Suraj?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll go right on to item G2. Could I have a motion to approve the following invoice package for central office as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
So the first invoice in this package is TSKP Studio. This is their monthly construction administration fees for services rendered through January 31st in the amount of $5,600. The next invoice is Arcadis. This is for the central office portion of their project management services, $1,267.50. And then the next two invoices are from IMTL. This is for materials testing for the central office, one in the amount of $450 and one in the amount of $580. All of these have been reviewed and approved by ONG and recommended for payment.
BCO 177, we had added additional knock boxes at the central office for $660. BCO 182, furnishing installed A and B cabinet in the central office. This is pretty consistent throughout the rest of the building. With PCO 194, had to relocate a baseboard heat pipe in the central office for $2,179. PCO 195, we had to add blocking for the existing, around the existing windows in the central office for $2,429. And PCO 201 was to relocate a sprinkler in the central office to accommodate a new wall, one ceiling, sealing that wall for $1,471.
Any questions on any of those? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, opposed? Motion passes. Item G3, that I get a motion to approve the attached invoice in the amount of $7,460 from C&A Distributors Inc.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
So this invoice is to pay for doors that were added in the locker room. These are saloon style doors that swing both ways, essentially acting as a partition. We found that when a locker room door was open, you could see all the way through into the changing area. And this allows for the needed privacy. So this is in the amount of $7,460.
Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. E4, could I have a motion to approve the attached quotes for miscellaneous requests at Farmington High School totaling $79,310.53.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Discussion.
So these items were requested by Farmington High School staff. There's a provided explanation and rationale for each of these items. It's Some of them were not spec'd appropriately in the bid, so we need more of them. Others we found, living in the space are something that is needed. So the first one, you'll see these cases from JT Homes. The bid quantity specified one, we actually need 24 of them. So this would make up that difference and give the 23. That's for 3,680. The next couple of items are all from Interscape. Their quote total is $61,484.28. This is art display panels, shelving for the music department library, a podium to match a new auditorium, and risers. There questions? I thought I had something there. I bet. Okay. So those are all in the Interscape bid. And then there's two separate quotes for the gymnasium. This is for state championship banners. When the old ones were taken from the gym, they didn't really fit the appropriate way in the new space. They're horizontal, I guess, and they'll fit better vertically just based on the wall space and space available. So this would replace all of those state championship banners. So this motion would approve all of those items in an amount totaling $79,310.53.
And just a little explanation, Kat, so that we understand why they're handled this way as a separate item versus change order.
Right, so these, we are going directly to the vendor. This would authorize us to purchase it through the vendor rather than working through O&G or a subcontractor on the project. Some of these items are not eligible for reimbursement, so that's important to add as well. So that's another reason to go straight to the vendor. And these are kind of like at the beginning when we opened the project, the culinary items that we added, it's directly purchasing those items. So it would come out of contingency and again, go directly with the vendor.
All the banners have to be redone. Wow. Yeah. And how many walls we couldn't fit? No, sitting there. That's what I thought.
Between the windows and the partition, there's just not
Not.
the same layout for wall space.
But people are looking for them to go out.
They are.
Yeah,
I understand. Definitely. All right, any other questions? Comments, thoughts about the final motion?
Do we get to auction off the old banners?
No,
I know.
good funding question.
What will happen to them?
The old banners?
Yeah.
So I think I'm not really sure because I've been in different times in the conversation. There is the small gym, so that's something we're talking about, but we're not gonna get rid of them. We're gonna keep them. Might be an opportunity, for something to be done, like it's part of the history of the town. So we also thought about that, but I think that discussion is ongoing, but they're not going away from our town. We're just trying to figure out the best next step when it comes to the old banners.
You buy 5 bricks from the old building, you get 1 banner.
Throw it in, yeah. All right, all in favor? Maybe the 1928.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Any other business?
One quick thing. Can we talk about student parking? No, I'm joking.
You're a brave man.
That's all I'm hearing. Just a quick question. As we start to get towards completion, I know that our meetings will probably get a little less frequent, right? We'll probably cancel some of those interim ones. What does it look like going forward? The state does, I know that the state, it's not OSCGR anymore because of everything, whatever. How does that process go forward? Are we still meeting on a monthly basis to just review what the state reviews, or, for final reimbursements and that kind of stuff? Or I forgot what they called that, process. I'm looking at Arcadis.
Yeah.
The
Maybe-
audit, there you go, the audit.
Final audit.
Yeah.
Is that something we still continue to meet through that, or, cause I've heard that could take a while?
It could
Yeah.
take years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while, so I don't, I wouldn't think we continue.
I don't think we,
Committee will be disbanded.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
just curious, I mean, we're obviously getting a little bit more towards the tail end now,
Yeah,
so, and I
exactly.
love seeing you guys.
We could find out.
yeah, so Emily from Arcadis is working on preparing everything for that audit when
Okay.
when it comes. And again, I've heard of some projects that don't get audited for years after the project. So she would get us in a position where when they do come, we're ready to give them whatever they need. So we can get some more information from her as to what that process looks like, but I think we would be disbanded and not make everybody wait around
Between
for,
the town and.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
at that point,
The district, yeah.
yes.
I know if Emily has all the information, she has been able to do it within a year.
Okay.
But some of them, they do linger on, I
Right.
think some go out 5 years plus, so.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to keep meeting.
No, I'm just curious. I've haven't been on other building committees. Obviously, this is a substantial one, right? And there's this whole audit process that I'm sure some of the roof replacements don't really go through, or they do, they're much minimized from that. So I'm just more curious than anything. So,
Yeah, but we are getting. closer to
Anything
that.
with reimbursement goes through that process, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think to that point, John, I think there's a lot to be said for, like, I think we have to think a little bit more as we're getting closer, like, what are the steps, what kind of timing are they?
And Hartford and West, Lake Boston. West and Hartford.
And just in general, I don't need, because I don't even know the timing, obviously, we're going back to town council has to be involved and assuming and all of that, so I think probably good for all of us to kind of understand what the steps are and what the timing would look like. Yeah.
Yeah, we can try to put something, maybe like
To give you a sense.
Yeah, just to give
some
you an
sort
idea.
of,
Yeah.
it could be still a little loose in the timing of
Yeah,
everything, but like, here's what we'll have to do
Right.
to
And
complete.
I think, we always thought of the end when getting all our documentation together and
Mhm.
trying to be really organized about it, so it's not difficult when we get there. If it's a year later, 2 years later, sometimes, you're like scrambling to get things, but we're very organized.
Yes, we try to be.
That's it. That's all I have.
Curious as we're wrapping up, and I know we approved some purchases and changes based on feedback from the users, so when does it kind of wind down and it's like, okay, speak now or forever hold your peace, like,
March 1st.
Yeah. Russ and I have been trying to track that. We're obviously working with Joe, our finance director, because we do have probably one more smaller bond issue to do. So it's helpful for him to know, okay, we have X left in contingency. This is where we are, so that maybe he doesn't have to do the anticipated amount. So,
right.
I mean, we're trying to gear up for that, and it's probably sooner that we would need to get him that information than later.
Sure. And I don't even mean big things, but just, while we still have contractors around.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the effort, prioritization, and like we saw here, there were some prioritized items that came forward through us, so what's that process? And how do we do that?
Very different when you're using the space.
All right, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, we will adjourn at 5:32.